Did you know that successful vegetable gardens always start with soil health? Calvin Gardner is here to explain more. Calvin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
All right, you are a horticulture agent. You know your soil.
Yes.
So let's start off by talking about the native soil that most of us are going to find in our yards here in Florida. What's the story?
Our classic Florida soil is very sandy. I have a little box of it here. It's mostly comprised of sand. It's not very alive, and it is good at a few things. It's good at drainage, and it's really good at aeration. So when it rains a lot, we don't have a lot of standing puddles, and it is really good for air to get to root zones.
Okay, so for some plants that could be advantageous, I would presume.
Yeah, it would be perfect. Now, where it may fall short in some categories is that because it drains so well, it does not hold on to water very well, and subsequently it doesn't hold on to nutrients as well either.
Okay, that makes sense. That tells me why during the summer I'm having to water my flower bed every day. All right, so if we have this soil that we're working with, how do we make it healthier?
So the number one thing we want to add to Florida soils is organic matter.
Okay.
Basically, all organic matter is broken down plant material into a soil-like state, like compost. Yes.
Okay, so how do we go about doing that?
So what we're going to go ahead and do is we'll get some basic compost that we have. You can get that from a store, in a bag. Even composted cow manure is pretty cheap in the store too. Will work just the same. And you can get some of that manure or compost, and you just take a little scoop of it, and you want to do about 1 to 3 inches of compost or manure over the soil.
Over that sandy soil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then once you get it over the top of that soil, we suggest coming in and just giving it a little bit of a turn up and move it around with a shovel and get it to those top 4 to 6 inches of soil where the root zones are going to be and where that organic matter is going to be most effective at holding onto water and holding onto nutrients.
So, and my next question was, what does this accomplish? And I think you just answered. It's going to help with the drainage, make it a little more moist.
Yeah, so organic matter is full of carbon, and carbon is really good at holding on to all that water and holding on to all that nutrients and making it in a way that it's available to the plants throughout the growing season.
So do we need to do this anytime we plant something in our yard?
Yeah, so standard practice is typically to add it before each growing season.
Okay.
So we like to do a little bit of a turn-in, again, to those 1 to 3 inches at the beginning of the season, especially if your bed's clear, it's very easy to turn in.
So we're doing this for shrubs, for vegetables, for flowering, for anything?
Yeah, and as you move through the season, you can do a few simple tests to be able to figure out if you need to add more or if it's in a good place.
Okay, that segues beautifully into my next question. I've heard that the University of Florida Extension will test soil. Tell us about that program.
So we have a soil testing program. We suggest testing your soil about once or twice a year, typically at the beginning of a growing season. And you can just simply take your soil that you have and grab a bag and take from that top 4 to 6 inches of soil where your root zone is going to be, put it into the bag, and bring it into us. And for about $3, we will test your pH, which is a key indicator of your soil's health.
Okay, so when I get that information back, I'll know what to do with it?
Yes, we send over a document that entails if you need to be adjusting that pH for the specific kind of plant that you're growing. We also offer a much more in-depth test that gives you some of the nutrients in your soil, as well as that pH if you're inclined.
So interesting. And do you find that a lot of people who take advantage of this have success stories?
Yeah, we have a lot of people who, if they are not adding the correct stuff to their soil, they feel like they're adding too much fertilizer, then by figuring out what's particularly wrong with it, typically pH, they can start to change that pH and therefore get a lot more bang for their buck on their fertilizer and their plant health as a whole.
That is so great. And another question, when it comes to compost, can you make your own?
Yes, you certainly can. There's multiple ways to make your own. You can always get a backyard composter. We also suggest a way where you can, if you dig a deep enough hole, you can just throw a lot of the compostable materials like yard scraps into there and cover it up and wait a year or two, and it will come out as compost as well. It's just a much slower method. So both ways work.
Interesting. And you know, Kelvin, I have seen some of my neighbors, I think they get them from, their city or their town, have those composting devices.
Yes.
So you can probably call your local government and see if that's offered.
Yeah, many different municipalities throughout Orange County offer programs where you can receive a backyard composter. Not all, but it's always worth checking.
Okay. This is so great. All right. Well, thank you so much for this helpful information. And it's great to know that we have this resource where for a very affordable price, you can get your soil tested and find out what you need to adjust.
Yeah.
All right,
for having
Kelvin.
me.
Well, thanks. It's always a pleasure. We always enjoy having you. Okay, guys, so hopefully you're going to get your compost going before you plant your next round of plants or vegetables, and you too will be able to enjoy some healthier soil.